we would like to present you with this human starter kit.
Car keys, so I can lose them and say, has anyone seen my car keys? Then I can do that, that thing where you thank you. And Band-Aids for your stupid, fragile bodies. Oh, and look at this, a stress ball with a dumb corporate logo. Oh, I can't wait to keep finding this and then almost throw it away and then think, no, I'll use it.
So, I was rewatching The Good Place last week, and I totally forgot about this scene where they give Michael a human starter kit. And I thought, while I was watching it, it'd be really funny to put together what I think I would put in a human starter kit, and maybe to hear what other people would say that you should put in. So I was brainstorming, and I was like, well, obviously you need a junk drawer, because everybody has a junk drawer. It may not physically be a drawer. Maybe it's like a weird wicker basket that's an odd color, or like a little bag in the corner of your office that you haven't gone through, or a box somewhere. Because, yeah, I think everybody has a tendency to hold on to stuff that they maybe should just throw away, but they're not gonna. Especially because, like, everything needs to be sort of in the category, like, this is for the kitchen, this is for the bathroom, this is for the bedroom. Even if it ends up somewhere else in the house, you generally have a sense, like, this is a bathroom thing. But then you have all these little odd bits and bobs that don't seem to go anywhere. So I was like, obviously, junk drawer can hold all the things in the human starter kit. And then I was like, shitty pens, like the kind that you steal from, like, the bank or something. And then it's just in your house forever. And every time you need a pen, you go to reach for it to go, like, write a note down or something, and it doesn't work, or it's really hard to write with. And you keep thinking, I should probably throw this pen out and get a new one. But you're not going to. You're going to keep this pen forever. And then when you die, your kids are going to go through your things. Or they're going to be like, oh, look, it's an extra pen. Do I need an extra pen? Maybe I'll keep it. And then it becomes like a family heirloom, but also a curse. I loved the mention of the stress ball in this clip, because I know for a fact there is a, like, orange foam stress ball. I don't even know where I got it. It might have been from a thing when I was in college, that just, like, is around, and occasionally I'll find it and I'll put it somewhere else, and then it'll end up somewhere else, but I never get rid of it, even though I don't actually ever use it. I just keep thinking, I'm probably going to use it. I get stressed out a lot, and I like squishing it. But yeah, then I never actually do anything with it. And then I was like, oh, subscription. Like, nowadays it's probably email subscriptions, but I feel like everybody has, like, the local newspaper or some kind of, like, shopping email subscription that they were like, oh yeah, I'll definitely use this for the deals or whatever, or I've subscribed to this so I can stay up to date on it. You never read it. It's in your inbox. You go, oh, I should read this. And then you either let it build up, or you, like, delete them over and over again. And it just keeps coming. It just keeps coming. It never ends. It's the never-ending pile of New Yorker magazines. Yeah, so I think, like, that's a pretty good one, is if I was going to give someone a human starter kit, you give them a subscription to something, because they're probably just never going to unsubscribe, even though that is an option everybody has for every subscription ever. That's why it's called it, but you're probably not gonna. Or by the time you do, it's been years. It's been years, and you've seen it staring at you in the inbox, and you're not gonna do anything about it. Then I got to the first season of Game of Thrones. It doesn't specifically have to be Game of Thrones, but I think it needs to be one of those, like, TV series or a book that everyone you know is talking about. And they're like, oh my god, the second season of whatever was so good. Have you seen it yet? And you have to be like, no, I've totally been meaning to watch that. I just haven't gotten around to it. We both know you're not going to get around to it. I don't know. It's like, it's a weird social thing to just, like, pretend you're going to watch or read a thing because someone else really liked it. Even though you probably never will. And a little tiny part of you is really hoping that they'll get bored with that thing and it'll be over, and then they won't want to talk about it anymore. So you don't have to keep saying, no, I haven't seen the first season of this 8-season TV show, so I don't actually know how it ends. but that sounds crazy. The dragons, they came or they didn't came, and then a guy died, and there was a wedding or something. That's cool. Yeah, I've totally been meaning to watch that. That's definitely a thing that I personally wanted to watch. But then I got here and I realized that literally everything I could think of is just something that is kind of in a junk drawer, because I think the most human thing seems to be like almost like a tiny bit of a sense of denial, or just like not being able to let go of things. Like I was, for a little bit there, I was like, what about like a cute teddy bear or something? Because there's always those things from like when you were a kid, or maybe it's a silly kid thing, and you're like, I don't actually care about this thing I've had since I was a child, because I'm a real adult and I don't have soft, squishy feelings inside of me. I just keep it, like on the off chance there's a child around in my, I don't know why there would be. I don't really have nieces and nephews that come over, but like if they did, I would be prepared. Or, I might give it to my future child, although I could also get them new toys. But yeah, I'm just keeping it, for the future. It's not because I actually, I'm still attached to things in my childhood, or you're just an out-and-out collector of childhood things, and that's totally cool. Honestly, you want to collect figurines or comic books and stuff, go for it. But yeah, everything I could think of that is a human thing is some kind of weird form of collecting, right? And it's always slightly different, right? It's not always the same movie or the same book that's the popular thing that you haven't done, but you keep saying you're gonna do. But it is a consistent thing that happens to, I feel like, everybody. Right? It may not be the same type of collectible. Maybe you collect stamps. Maybe you've got some old coins somewhere. Maybe you really like books. Maybe you've got like a makeup collection or a jewelry collection going, or you got a lot of shoes. I've also heard some people collect water bottles, which I was like, you can only drink out of one at a time. I don't know, we really need like 30, but you do you. Yeah, and like I don't really know what that says about humans or being human, or what I think being human is like. It's just a tendency I've noticed that the things people tend to have in common are quirky things that generally have to do with like not quite admitting to yourself whether you are or not going to do something. Yeah, so I don't know. I thought the idea of a human starter kit was really interesting. I don't have a lot for this video, and then I was looking at the junk drawer thing, and I was like, it is really interesting that it's one of those behaviors everybody has, even if it's not literally in the same way, but it's something that we all tend to do. We all tend to hold on to stuff and keep it somewhere because we don't really know what to do with it, but we don't really want to throw it away. Right, we all have good intentions. We all have a good intention to, like, use the business card that we took from somewhere. Or spend those coupons that we got in the mail a little bit ago. But you're not going to use the coupon. It's going to sit, and then it's going to expire, and then you're going to pull it up later, and you're going to be like, oh, darn it. $5 off that pizza. I totally forgot because, oh right, I order pizza online like a normal person and don't go into the store and pull out a book of coupons. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting to me that there's all these like good intentions to do a thing or use a thing or throw a thing out or fix something. And it just all kind of ends up piling up in a corner somewhere, and then you kind of feel a little guilty about it, but like not that guilty. It's like a general sense of anxiety that just kind of sits in your house in a corner somewhere until you're ready to look at it again. Yeah, or even the idea of like, oh, I might need this later. Right? I don't know what I would use this thing for now, but maybe I need this little tiny screw or this little bolt or this this stack of 30-something odd elastics. Where do people even get elastics from? It's something I wonder, because I have a rubber band ball going of just all the elastics I've found in my house, and I don't know where they came from. I can't think of, like, I've never purchased elastic bands. They just kind of show up in our house, and I have a lot of them now, and I don't know why I have, like, I know it makes sense to keep them, because I'm sure I'll use it for something. I'm just not sure where they come from, and there's a lot of weird stuff like that. Like, I don't know if I've ever purchased bobby pins, but I know I have them, and like a decent amount, or I'll have little like hair beads and things. Yeah, there's a lot of interesting stuff that kind of piles up in your house that it's not quite clear what you should do with them, like arcade tokens or pennies. I know in America they still use pennies, but we discontinued using them here. So it's just like a thing you have now, and I guess like maybe you could melt them into something. That would be kind of cool. Melt down your pennies or make an earring something. But yeah, I don't know. I thought it was an interesting thing to talk about, and it makes me curious what sorts of things other people hold on to or can't quite throw away. And if this is a thing anyone else has noticed, or maybe I'm just reading into it too much, right? I don't know everyone on the planet. Maybe there's a decent amount of people that are very efficient and they only keep stuff that goes into the specific spots in their house. It's all categorized and beautiful like a Pinterest board. If you're one of those people, I don't know. That's pretty cool, honestly. I would aspire to that, but yeah, I don't know. I'm curious what sorts of things you just kind of have that you haven't thrown away, and why that might be, because some things make sense to me. You know, you might get a little knick-knack that's really shitty, like a Kinder Egg toy or something, but you hold on to it because someone gave it to you and you thought that was really sweet. Or like a postcard. I have empty postcards that like no one sent to me. I just like picked them up while I was out somewhere, meaning to send them to people, and I just never did. Usually it's, I have younger siblings, so whenever I would like be out somewhere, I would pick up like little postcards and knickknacks and things, meaning to send it to them, and I just never got around to it. So I have like a box of stuff that I've been meaning to send to them, and I just never have, and they may never ever actually see those things until like the day I die. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting to me. Or like iPod stuff, you know, like when you have all those extra weird charging cords that aren't like the nice charging cords, but you still keep them, and then they're like somewhere buried in some stuff, or like the cases for earbuds you don't even own anymore. Yeah, I don't know. It wasn't like a super silly video, which was what I was going for originally. I just thought it was something kind of interesting to think about, and I don't know if you will too, but I hope it was at least a little bit enjoyable. Yeah, that was all I wanted to talk about, so I will see you later.